mean, but at the same time, my panel's for the people who don't realize they were supposed to be going to the Bang Dream panel. So that works out.
Yeah, I guess it does.
How the frick did we land at 12:30 at night? Is it because Arioto's in the PowerPoint? Is it because I'm going to talk about Arioto?
For like 5 seconds.
Come on, I can talk about Gyaru slang.
You're the one that speaks the language.
I could talk about the Terusawa that shows up.
Shut up.
But it must be really load-bearing, right?
Soul damage.
Okay, it should wet my throat. Let's see.
Hydration line?
No, we got a thing in the back of the room.
There.
How we all doing tonight?
Good.
It's been a lot, but I've been having fun.
We spent like all week where we were supposed to be prepping for both of our panels playing marathon.
Who would do that?
We were really good at prepping before then, but then we bought marathon.
Who would be spending all of their time playing an FPS game and desperately trying to rank up, instead of doing something that actually matters with their lives?
It's okay, we played marathon when it first came out, the original, 30 years ago.
I'm
old.
15 years old. I'm 15 years old, depending on which book you ask me in. Since I haven't written it in the notes, for anyone unaware, Reniko has regressed in age by book 8. I don't know if Taryn Mikami just realized that her math didn't add up 8 books in, but I've gone and double-checked it in both languages, and she is 16 through all the books up until volume 8. And I think short stories. So all of a sudden she's 15, and I even had a lovely individual catch me up that at least once she's doing it as a joke, because when you say you've died, you add 1 to your year, and Reniko's doing it wrong on purpose. But no, they double-checked the grammar, and she's just suddenly 15, and was definitely 16 for several books prior.
Got it right in the anime and manga, though.
Did they do it?
Yeah.
I've never gone back. Wait, no, they didn't get it right in the manga. I've
What?
never gone back to check in the anime.
Okay, we're starting in like 4 minutes.
Rumor has it.
We're gonna be yapping for an hour.
I simply don't know if I can conjure enough things to say about Watanare for an entire hour.
You can. I've heard you.
So, like, is Dr. Light dead in Watanare, or?
Well, obviously, this is the universe where he neither got into robotics nor internet technology.
Yeah, this is the one where he got into playing Peak.
Emma Ori here thinks she can't talk for an hour about Watanare when she spent like 3 hours talking about Mega Man lore a few years ago.
Just Mega Man X.
Well, considering you're bringing up Dr. Light, it's kind of Mega Man 2.
I mean, hey, we can start debating on which character from Apex, Peak, that Satsuki's cosplaying, because I'm still indecisive. It could just be Bangalore, but I don't know. It doesn't really fit. It's not like she's Seer. Was Seer even out?
No.
Like, it would be cowardice if she were being Seer and not wearing the hat, right?
Yes.
She Pathfinder?
Shut up.
Are they desperately trying to be Wraith? You think it's unfortunate that a game called Peak came out after she called Apex Peak? You think that gets in trouble a little bit?
Oh, Erie, is it already recording or are you?
Sorry, it's been recording.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Oh Jesus. Okay, I mean, hey, we've got the battery for it.
You can edit it out. It's okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't care. But that's a good reminder that I have to turn this thing on.
Proud of you. Okay. Should we just start at 12:30 on the spot?
That's
Yay,
good.
big New Year's timer.
What? Wait, what? Why are you taking this so seriously?
This is a big
I'm-
deal.
I'm being
This is
dramatic.
Serious. I expect no jokes. All serious the whole time, please.
Look, we have to entertain our 5 visitors.
Sorry, what was that? I couldn't hear you.
Why did you make that?
Why did I make this? I don't know. I don't know why I would make this. You think maybe it's because they just put a perfect recreation of the running animation in episode 15, and I felt cursed to walk this earth if I did nothing with it?
Amber, why am I dating you?
Why are you dating me? Why do we have 3/5 of polycule of a quintet up here?
Because it would be funny.
Is it because I'm that autistic that I'm pulling everyone in? Wait, what would autism have to do with this?
That's our next panel, dear.
That's this panel too.
Okay.
Did your phone turned off?
Yay, it's
Oh.
time. Okay.
You can get rid of it. Hello, everyone. I cannot believe you are here. Thank you so much. This is still twice as many people as I was expecting, even though one is a plant in the audience. Thank you, Hanatori. We were going to have Mai here, but unfortunately she got food poisoning of some variety, even though Hanatori taste tested for poison first, and Hanatori has an iron stomach. Funny how that works out, but we got photos, it's all okay. I am Takamanchi, a literal nobody from the internet, except for that one time that I yelled about a book. That was, no, not that one. The other one, the bad plagiarist book. And then 100 people followed me, and I'm shocked. And then I started yapping on the internet. And I'm not getting any money from it, but I'm gonna keep doing it.
It's what we all aspire to do.
I am Claudia. I yap on Blue Sky about a lot of things, but mostly Watanare at this point. I also write a lot on AO3. I have like 200,000 words of stuff written for Watanare because I have a problem.
Excuse me, I forgot to hit record.
You are
Hey.
very smart.
I'm Heptadadis. I am mostly on Blue Sky. I am obsessed with Kiana Castellana. I want to be an artist, but I barely draw.
And she is here as our emotional support, as the one that likes Aujisai the most, because I love Aujisai with all of my heart. But she has the least baggage, so I worry about her the least. And damned if that is not true. Damned if Reniko is not achieving emotional maturity beyond her years by being asked who her favorite could be, and her first thought is, you know, Satsuki doesn't have any social support networks. That's kind of messed up. Like, we're past midnight on a 16+ panel. Can we swear?
Yeah.
Who the fuck cares?
No, they actually might. I should have checked that in advance. Anyway. Thank you all for coming. This panel is dedicated to discussing the themes of neurodivergence and polyamory in Watanare. Are better known as, oh, I'm not going to do the actual slide. There's no freaking way I'll be your lover. Unless... We could be living in a beautiful timeline where I could be using an English term to refer to this series, but they made there is nothing you can get out of that. It's like come on, contract something out of freaking. Go for it.
Freak love. Freak love.
First off, above all else, is everyone here have you already seen the series or read through the 4th book? No.
Yeah.
All right, good. I planned this for not going into spoilers just in case, but I'm going to apologize for one thing in advance. I'm so sorry for the fact that I had to write on the panel title that there is polyamory involved. That is, in fact, a spoiler, but I'm not going to go into what, other than the fact that, holy shit, it's real-ass polyamory, and it has been, and the series didn't end as soon as it became real-ass polyamory, but it's not really something I can hide behind the title of a panel when it's going to be one of the main thrusts of what I want to talk about, and I've had to hide it everywhere else. I'll have a link to it at the end of the presentation, but I also have a blog that I've done 10,000 word write-ups for every single episode of the adaptation, comparing it between the anime adaptation, the original book, the Japanese publishment, and the manga version, because I have some problems. I've been waiting for a series like this my entire life, and I'm old, but they made it. And here's my precious little bread daughter, and she is a dumb bitch. And I love her with all of my heart. Speaking of, this was drawn by my personal Kaho, Matoyan at bsky.social. Please do not check out that account if you're under 18 years of age. But she is quite a lovely artist, and she stuffed her into a bag. And I love the hair tie so much, and it gets me every time I look at it blown up. Whoops, I'm in Audacity. Hello. Oh my god, the Lambda and Berniger. I could not be happier. Our second panelist, Claudia, is Claudia Frederica, as in Claudia Frederica, and also ran into Ryukishi in Umineko cosplay at his first ever public event, so we are very happy for this. All right. As I alluded to earlier, more commonly referred to as "there's no freaking way I'll be your lover unless," which you're going to get through about twice before you give up and find out there is a Japanese contraction for the name. The series is best described in English as, excuse me, a high school Yuri comedy about fake dating, real dating, competitive dating, and an overwhelmed girl who's accidentally doing all three at once. They're still using this on, like, the 8th book. Hey, by the way, don't look up the 8th book. They just put the 8th book up on Amazon, and if you haven't read up to volume 7, it just spoils, and this is true of the Japanese version too, this one isn't 7th Sea's fault. They just spoil, like, the second biggest thing to happen in the series on the back of volume 8, which is a pain in the ass, but at the same time, we're getting volume 8 in August. If it doesn't slide back, thank God. After the delay of volume 7, like, people nearly died over that. You should have heard the noises this woman made. Come on, say something sheepish.
What? I cried like a baby. I was reading in the bath, and Amber just came up to me because I was making crying noises, and she knew I was at the end, so she needed to hold my hand. And I had to tell her to leave because I was crying uncontrollably, and I couldn't let her see that.
Was that when you dropped it into the bath? It's
Yeah.
a waterproof tablet, it's okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, neurodivergency, polyamory. I'm so sorry for speaking about the fact that there's polyamory involved, but no, I've been talking and doing public writing for the series since the anime started last year in, July? And I have not once brought up the fact that there's polyamory involved. And I've had to deal with people calling this a harem from the very beginning, and we find out in the first book that multiple women are crushing on the other women in the circle, and this is not just an inwardly pulling circle, and people still want to say it's a harem because they just don't give a shit that there are lesbians going for other lesbians, but they also like the main character. Oh, that just means they only like the main character. Okay, yeah, I guess that's the standard of most stories that we've read for the last hundreds of years, but so, no, please don't call it a harem. I don't give a shit what you have to tag it on a website to not call it a harem. I don't care that they call it a harem in Japanese. I don't care that the word two-timing has to come up in volume 8. Please, God, kill me. And please take out the Harry Potter reference. Sorry, it's too late. They put it in volume 7. I was in the original. I'm so sorry. Then they made it into a meme on Twitter. You realize what I have to put up with as a trans woman when Taryn Mikami starts making jokes about which of the quintet are in which Harry Potter house, and the fact that none of them are in Slytherin is actually something I could use to talk about the integrity of her writing and what it means that she isn't demonizing anyone with mental illness. That involves giving that woman any hot air at all when she's already making way too goddamn much money to try and kill me. She said Satsuki's a Ravenclaw. Like, no one else is going to Slytherin. That says everything. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that shit anymore.
Azkaban.
Shut up.
Okay, that and the fact that they ruled that Reniko's going straight to Azkaban. All right.
No, it's wrong.
So, more important to this than anything else jumping into this, who is Taryn Mikami? Taryn Mikami is an artist that...
A writer.
A writer that showed up, did a little bit of writing on Shosetsuka ni Naro, the free online Japanese publishing website, of a few different series such as I'm a girl who cannot live without the nutrients of another girl's bodily fluids within 48 hours and will die if I do not receive them.
Oh, same girl.
And a couple other things, none of which made it into a fully published book. And Watanare actually went through a full publishing process. It was not self-pubbed into an adaptation. Neither, I believe she had to self-pub Arioto, that's for other reasons, and that's on the next slide. Specifically here, we have the official character designer's rendition of Teru Mikami, the editor, Kei-san, and Eku Takeshima as a little egg going to the Taipei event in China. I probably said something stupid there, but I don't know. Which is significant because I've heard people try to say things about Taryn Mikami. You think it's suspicious that the author insists on presenting with exclusively feminine form? Her icon on Amazon, on Twitter, and all of her professional inserts at the end of her books is this little gremlin sitting and playing on a DS Lite, as if anyone knows what a DS Lite is. I am old. And people want to say that they may not be a woman. Holy shit. People are fucking stupid. However, I want to shout out Kei-san real quick. This is just their editor, but she is extremely involved with all the publicity of Watanare and posts a lot about it on Twitter, and is also an active Valorant player, which is funny as hell, all things considered. And like half the news that I get about Watanare is just from following her, so she is a little queen. All of this is leading into what has Taryn Mikami wrote about. Almost 99%, not exclusively, stories about women loving women. And holy shit, thank God. Other than things written on here, she has a couple series that are currently ongoing that came after her major breakout hits, such as Arioto, Watanare, and If You Could See Love. She's also a writer on Link, Love, Love Live, whichever the mobile-only version of Love Live is. Unfortunately, I don't know shit about that, and I'm dying to know because I'm sure that's, what are we at, like the 6th iteration of Love Live, and it's gacha only. I'm sure it is real nasty at this point, like the stuff they're getting away with in Bang Dream nowadays. I'm sure she's gotten through some shit. Now, I want to bring these up for 2 reasons. First off, Arioto, the one on the right here, Arioto, or Onna Doshi toka Arianai desho to Iharu Onna no ko wo Hyaku Nichi Kande Tete. I'm not fucking doing it. A story of a girl who insists it's impossible for 2 girls to get together completely falling within 100 days. I'm gonna need water at this rate. Okay. This story is an important companion piece to Watanare in a couple of ways. She has mentioned in interviews multiple times that explicitly she has been writing Arioto and Watanare side by side to have all of the safe, fluffy rom-com of Watanare over in one side, and everything else she's been wanting to include in stories over in Arioto. So I can't talk about Arioto because I didn't sign this panel up to be 18 plus. So, needless to say, there is a woman suffering from compulsory heterosexuality who has another woman do some things with her fingers, and she is no longer straight, and she has figured some things out about herself. And that's only within the first 100 days. Unfortunately, it's currently not available in English. It is only available. There is an absolutely amazing manga adaptation of just the first novel. But the only option of reading that book in English is machine translation. My Metamor is currently working at 7 Seas and has been begging them to let them translate for it and just get the license. I'll do everything else. No dice so far, but one day we'll see it.
I hope. I've been wanting to read it forever.
It is absolutely fantastic. And another one, a series that I read that no one talks about being written by Terry Mikami, called If You Could See Love. Now, if any of you have any familiarity with Terry Mikami, and you haven't read If You Could See Love, I'm sure you are familiar with Terry Mikami being that woman that writes stories about women having their boundaries violated in one way or another and always going into some raunchy territory, whether it should be or not. So If You Could See Love is from earlier and has absolutely none of that going on. And as a result, no one realizes it's written by Terry Mikami. It is an absolutely wonderful series about a woman that is either asexual, aromantic, a little bit of both, but she can see everyone else's romantic intentions and desires towards everyone else, manifested as pink arrows flying from herself or to others, from their hearts to the other people's hearts, whether it's reciprocated or not. All of the arrows are illustrated completely differently based on how their love feels, acts, and moves. Everything's individualized, and it is, in fact, like two-tone color instead of just black and white. It is a wonderful story, and if any of you... Has anyone here read this story? All right, you remember that ending, don't you? The only thing anyone remembers about this series is the ending. I'm not going to spoil it because it's a wonderful story that deserves to be read. However, I am going to suggest that you read Watanare first, because knowing Watanare came second, and that this came earlier, you're going to realize the very obvious fact that an editor decided the ending had to change, because it was clear this bitch was up to her bullshit before now. Gee, I can't imagine what I could be alluding to in this. What is this about? Neurodivergence and what?
Gay.
Yeah, I think, anyway, there's a Homura XP in there. Y'all Madoka lovers just hop on. It's 3 volumes. It's a short read. Oh yeah, I probably got canned too. 3 manga. Yeah, 3 volumes of manga is the point that they can your series if it's not doing gangbusters. But, just to re-summarize, Terry Mikami has had a wide range of topics. She is always talking about some form of neurodivergency in one way or another. I can't speak for her love life stuff, but everything else, it's definitely been getting up there. And not only in that, but she even has had a series that's explicitly offsetting Watanare by being about spicier things. And that's why she mentions Arioto in every single volume of Watanare at the end, including calling for an anime adaptation of it and then laughing it off because I can't talk about this series at this panel. And people get real mad reading Arioto because it depicts real life situations that happen all the time. If you go into any queer establishment of a broader variety, but as soon as it's in fiction, everyone suddenly thinks this couldn't be happening in real life and we have to stop talking about it. By the way, if you're already enjoying the yapping going on here, or the vibe we're going for, or the shit posting going on, we have a Neurodivergence and Yuri panel about general series tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. in the same room, and Precious Forkun will not be attending because this is a special treat for showing up tonight. I'm going to breastfeed this thing at some point. It's got a little port in the back. My little baby needs to be fed.
How old is that?
Good question. I got it when the Red Dead 2 pack was out, so Damn, I probably should have weaned it off, but... in addition to this, we'll have a link to it at the end, but I have a blog where I have been yapping about this and a few other things. And God forbid, when I'm done writing about this adaptation, I'm going to have to write about something, so I'll be expanding my horizons at some point. In addition to my AO3, who knows what the hell I could be writing on there, like 50k words of transgender Reniko. Who would ever see Reniko as transgender, though? I may have taken until 32 to crack. I may have been married to her for 10 years before cracking. In addition to that, we have this one's AO3, where she currently has about 200,000 words written about Watanare and is literally saving lives with her depictions of Satsuki and mental illness. Cannot recommend it enough.
I have 500 words about Assassination Classroom.
Oh my god, you do?
You forgot?
Yeah! And there will be QR codes for that towards the end of the show. So, when's Watanare? In the author's own words, Watanare is a series about girls trying their absolute best and putting their hearts and souls into everything they do. This was specifically a quote regarding the anime adaptation saying, let's see, the exact wording was, "As a fan of problematic Yuri, I'm always worried whenever an adaptation like this is going to happen, whether it's my work or not, because I worry that the team may not understand what makes the series important. In Watanare's case, it is not that it is Yuri. I would say the aspects of Yuri are secondary. The core of the story is girls trying their very best." And that is the sentence that completely broke me at the end of Volume 7 and had me sobbing like a baby in bed after having finished it. It was the first full book I've ever read in Japanese. I graduated college in 2013 and never had the self-confidence to read in Japanese, and Watanare made me do it because, are you kidding me? I finished Volume 6 and I am not sitting on that shit. Every girl in the story is their own kind of mess. All of them end up hurting each other occasionally, frequently. I'm sure Ostracized hurt someone, putting those masks on those little baby puppies running around. But they all love each other dearly. Watanare is a romantic comedy, one that seriously delves into neurodivergency, trauma, and the difficulties of expressing love as neurodivergent queer women, because, holy shit, we had to have an entire cosplay convention arc just to figure out what the hell it means to express love in any way, shape, or form. This shit's tough. And apparently every single romance author writes about this exact issue and how they feel like they're losing their mind writing. I can't wait till I'm in that situation where I have to feel that way. I'm gonna get there one day. Wait, I'm serious. I have no idea what the hell... I know there's so many different kinds of love and what it means, but I don't know, maybe I'm getting a leg up. I'm already in a polycule. We'll be freely talking about things for as long as the anime goes, but we're not going to spoil any of the most intense second half that's currently not animated and just in the light novel format. I think we missed a word there. I missed a word. We will not be leaning too heavily on any major spoilers. We can talk about most everything, aside from the fact that we're just dropping the bomb that there is actual to-God love polyamory in this, and it's ongoing, and it is accelerating at a frightening pace. So to start off, of course, we're starting with Amori Reniko. Excuse me? Super smart, super outgoing, super with the times, and totally aware of social cues and everything around here. Absolutely not a disaster lesbian. Do you even know what the Japanese that's crossed out there is?
No.
It's basically doing the same bit you did, where she's crossing out all of her actual interests and writing a bunch of normie shit.
Go ahead.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was very excited for this series the instant it was announced, because even before getting to read any of it, having read the first volume of Arioto, having read If You Could See Love, and seeing that the protag of the next series is going to be in any form of ambiguous dating, that absolutely dogshit description they gave, it was a gamer, meant that we were going to be doing something special. And
What she did to me.
I bought you a copy of Stalker, and I forgot how many enemies there were at the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Excuse me, where are our notes? Oh, not that one. Not that one. Wait, don't we have the on the next panel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Reniko does her absolute best to look as absolutely normal as she can. Thank God. Ashigaya has such a loose dress code. It is absolutely driving me nuts. Like, I swear to God, Satsuki's wearing the men's vest over the women's uniform. Thank God they just get to do whatever. Like, she is the only one that has this ugly little gray hoodie, but it actually looks quite... I was going to call it ugly, but now that I'm wearing one, and we actually had to wear it because it's freaking cold outside, it actually looks really good on the Ashigaya outfit, so I can't talk shit anymore. And, I mean, she shows up with... Spoilers. Since Short Stories 2 takes place in the winter, she's actually wearing it during school, and we get to see her in the inserts, and it's really nice getting to see her finally wear it after it's around her waist and then disappears for most of the show. Of course, her past is she had some bad shit happen to her in middle school, and she just ended up falling into the hole of one day feeling like she won't be able to go to school the next day because, holy shit, she could not deal with the terror of what had just happened, and didn't feel up to it the next day. Didn't feel like it up the next day. A situation I had found myself in. I was always able to force myself to go to everything and get my mandatory attendance, but I have always felt the siren call of wanting to just step out a little bit, give myself some mental time, and realizing I'll never want to step out of that safety ever again. Can you take over for about a minute while I drink water? Yeah, you're terrified, I know.
Yeah.
Got this.
Keep going. Why?
I've got another panel tomorrow, I gotta drink more water.
Why is it still in the same? Sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to get it to actually move here. Amber, help!
Use the arrow keys.
I am, but it's just chasing on the laptop.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, tap back to the presentation room.
That will make sense.
You got
Yay!
this. You got this, Rita.
Okay, so, this is an insert from novel 7. During her immense crash out, she stopped being able to take care of herself. She felt like she couldn't look anyone in the eyes anymore. She messed up once and felt like that's all she can do for the rest of her life. Became crushingly socially aware of everything around her, and realized that the only way to function as a human being is to be completely alone and focus on her hobbies, because doing anything more would kill her. Good speaking.
And very specifically, the term that is used constantly throughout the series that she will never stop using is specifically inkara. It can mean introvert, but specifically she is calling herself a gloomy person. And that's why now that you have heard it, anytime you are watching translated anime, you'll often catch brief allusions to people calling themselves gloomy in one way or another, and things are going to start making a lot more sense now that you know it is a general term for this sort of introverted behavior. And that is why, if you watch the anime, they keep making a big deal about Reniko searching for the light and shying away every time that Oduka Mai turns on her Kitora. Sorry, wrong series. Her bright, glowing aura that has nothing to do with Bocchi the Rock. As she feels like she literally cannot deal with having someone so bright and exuberant around her, and someone who should be living in a dark hole.
Figured out I can handle the laptop.
The big thing that manages to help her break out of this situation, where she literally does not feel safe leaving her house and staying around all day, lazing around on the couch, hiding in a room, playing FPS games, and using the family computer, is working up the nerve to ask her sister, who is at the time in elementary school, to help her do a high school debut, reinvent her image going to a brand new school system, and make herself look like she was never a gloomy kid in the slightest, with this being a depiction of her cleaning up in the last-ish week of her middle school, cutting her own bangs against her sister's orders to try and fix up her image a little bit. And the nerve of having to ask a girl in literally elementary school to figure out how to present yourself socially in high school is something that, even though the series flaunts it in your face, it isn't until someone sits down and says it in a sentence to you that you realize how insane that is. Even if it's just a late middle schooler to a late elementary schooler, and that gap isn't all that bad. No, she's asking an elementary schooler to help her figure out what a social cue is, and Haruka did it. In the meantime, she was spending most of her time, just like me, sitting around and suffering, trying to find any motivation to do anything other than play FPS games all day long. I definitely didn't cut corners on this PowerPoint presentation because of Marathon. That being said, I also thought I'd be by the slide in the first 5 minutes, so I don't think I'm really cutting corners. I was certain I wouldn't be able to yap about this.
No.
So, was the Globe successful? Fun fact, we don't get to see any of the first 2 months of her high school debut for one reason or another, mostly to make it so we don't have to deal with the already agonizing pace of the series from the literal very first day of high school. But the first moment she has any real interaction with any of her classmates, she starts yapping to them about how she doesn't have enough MP to put up with any of their bullshit, which probably doesn't have it all together. Not only that, but even after she largely has her stuff together, there's still little things like she only has, in the first, 3/4 of a year, she only has 3 outfits, and I get it. Japanese high school student, she has a school uniform. You're not going to need all that much clothing when most of your time going outside is going to be wearing the exact same thing all day. But it's really adorable that she's trying to get away with only having like 3 entire outfits and hoping none of her friends notice that it's always the exact same thing, or her wearing a fucking t-shirt that says Love Koala on it. And oh my god, I wish the anime had managed to retain the Love Koala shirt. There must have been a rights issue. Before good. And of course, she ends up going to bed spooning with her PS5 because it's the only thing that's never going to not betray her in her life.
Notice how she's not playing games on it.
Notice she is not playing games on her PS5. I would have brought my PS5, but the girls wouldn't let me. No, go ahead.
Okay.
So, more seriously, Reniko is one of my favorite depictions of a character that is very, very, very firmly autistic. Not only that, but she has a lot going on that it just stuns me that we have time to get into and see. She's autistic. Obviously, she has anxiety, which is hard for me to discern because I made it to like 27 before someone told me I had an abnormal level of anxiety. Everyone thought I knew. Hey, I didn't say advance. You keep doing that.
She wants to show off my
Fucking softies. No, seriously, go ahead. I want to see mine. Not only that, there's just so much going on. She has her own self-awareness that she can't pick up on social cues. She has rejection-sensitive dysphoria to an extent. If none of you are familiar, rejection-sensitive dysphoria, in short, is something where the very concept of being rejected in any way, someone saying no to you, someone disagreeing with you, someone not liking how you present, will make you feel a literal physical pain in your chest, even though it is purely emotional. I didn't know this was a thing, even in my neurodivergent circles, until about 4 years ago. And, book 4, Reniko has a very quick mention of the concept of someone not getting along with her, causing a pain in her chest, and, that's not normal. I didn't know that wasn't a normal thing, and that that's something you can specifically have, and other people just feel a little icky, not specifically pain. This series is going to save lives. This part specifically I can't say, but the fact that this is just showing these characters with deficiencies that a lot of people struggle with and deal with, and show that they are, even though they are a little bit of a dipshit, are still worthy of the love of people around them, and even though they can make whatever mistakes and egregious, not egregious, or just general dipshittery. A better way to put it, any other series, Renko is a one-off joke character that's never going to have a happy future. At worst, people will be arguing with you about it for years and years that Kill la Kill is masterfully written, and all the characters definitely have a full character arc and aren't just a bit. Secondly, Oduka Mai, the primary girl that we get to discuss from the first novel, the super darling of Ashigaya High, a professional model at the age of 15, consistently 15 this time around. Still pretty short for a professional model, but still a killer in Japan. Pretty tall for a Japanese woman, not tall enough for a model. Literally seems to be made of money from top to bottom. Very significant because in Arioto there is a similar strong-willed, blonde-haired woman. Was she the one that turned out to be a brunette and we lost our mind?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. Regardless, there's a very similar character in Arioto where the entire bit is she actually isn't loaded at all. That did not happen with Mai. However, it has been clarified that she just has a shitload of money because she has not spent any money that she has earned from her job up until this point. She's just been having it saved up so she can do ridiculous things like rent out entire restaurants because she thinks her socially anxious girlfriend likes imposing on other people like that. A lot of people see Mai as a villain, or outright hate her, or ask me if they can skip her book in order to read about the other girls. I get it. So, Mai most likely has narcissistic personality disorder. I'm not here to diagnose anyone with anything, but she's got a lot of the overlapping traits. Going off of personality disorder definitions in the DSM-5 is kind of bullshit in a lot of ways. Please do not live your life by them. Just use it for what it makes. Use it for what it can help you learn for coping methods, and don't think about what it says about you otherwise, because they've literally been changing the definitions of these things because they realize it's just there to harm people at this point. But it probably is, and people with that label deserve love, just like Mai does.
She physically feels pain if she feels like anything less but perfect for everyone around her. It is a crushing, because she's raised to be perfect from birth. If she feels it being perfect, she's a failure and has crash outs like we see. Fun fact, I don't want to spoil later novels, but she's develops a slight touch phobia by novel 5 because she messed up really hard doing something with Reniko that she shouldn't have. And she becomes so afraid of messing up again that even a hug makes her freeze up and terrified, thinking that she's breaking boundaries again. She's not even the one initiating. Maya's a bit of an idiot, but she's not a villain. She's trying her best, and
That's the conceit of the series. Girls doing the best.
yeah.
One of the biggest things here is, sure, if you put it in this phrasing, it sounds pretty stupid. Yeah, Mai has gone her whole life succeeding and being seen as relatively perfect, so people think it's just annoying that she's getting upset the one time things don't go her way with Reniko. No, she finds out all at once that she has been set up with a sort of trauma where any sort of thing going wrong is going to be crushing for her. Now, another way to put this, this girl's been working in a professional setting since she was 9. She's shouldering the general trauma of having to be in the workforce during her childhood years. And not only that, but in an industry where she's constantly going to be around adults that are wanting to see her dressed up, dolled up, and looking perfect at all times. People much older than her, and doing so in multiple languages. And let's see, I know I'm forgetting one major thing I wanted to say. Crud, I'm going to remember it in 2 seconds. Regardless, as Claudia Sapsky here was referencing, all of this comes to a head running into Renko, someone who doesn't want to see the perfect girl that everyone's always expecting her to be, just wants her to be a girl who is somewhat dashing, which Mai consistently is, and she doesn't know what the hell to do with Renko because Renko, A, sets up boundaries, B, Mai breaks boundaries, C, boundaries are negotiated, accepted, set, and Mai no longer knows how to deal with these things. With those boundaries set up, we get situations like something that was cut from the anime, scene at the end of the second volume, right after the first Satsuki arc, where Renko is calming, reassuring a Mai that just got her butt absolutely blown up at a competition to claim Renko, with Renko just telling her to shut up, calm down, she did great, everything's fine. And Mai literally doesn't know what to do with herself, as alluded to, where even the most simple bit of intimacy, like a lap pillow, has her melting like a little girl. Now, please ignore what happens immediately after this. But Mai is still trying her absolute best at every time, and even little things like this drive her absolutely insane. Having someone that she feels so strongly for suddenly reciprocate so strongly to her, and in such a simple little way when she's fighting for whatever she can get, which makes her die on the spot, is wonderful. And of course, just to say the obvious, Karen Mikami is a braver woman than I would ever be, waiting 4 books to make everything about how hard this has all been on Mai a secret up until book 4, where we get flashbacks detailing how hard she's been taking everything the entire time. She's a professional model. She's not allowed to have a bad time. She knows how to mask that, especially sufficiently for an autistic woman like Renako, and she does it. And the audience buys into it because we're looking at it from Reneko's perspective. It's kind of insane that everyone just takes everything Reneko says without a grain of salt.
No. She totally doesn't like girls.
Never liked a woman in my life.
Anyway, me.
Koto Satsuki, our second heroine, Mai's best friend, childhood best friend.
Mai does not realize how much she means to Satsuki, like she logically does, but she emotionally cannot accept. That she's first in Satsuki's heart. Mai has a huge complex that she is not number one to anyone, while refusing to look at Satsuki and the fact that Satsuki dedicated her entire life into being able to rival Oruka Mai in every way. To the point where her life, Satsuki's life is basically on the border of falling apart because she based her life on one person that isn't
Oh, her life is
accepting her.
based on falling apart because of everything else going on in her life, too.
Yeah.
We should probably start from the top here. So, did y'all know that there's a little thing called borderline personality disorder that happens to be a learned set of traits based on the traumatic environment one can grow up in, one that suspiciously... Oh my god, are you pulling it out? Okay.
Keep talking.
The traits that can suspiciously come out from growing up in the sort of environment that Satsuki has, where parents are simply trying to enforce on their children not to make the same mistakes they did, not knowing how to teach them about that, usually due to the fact that they are barely trying to stay one lesson ahead of the life lessons from their kid, for one reason or another.
Anyway, I'm wearing my BPD shirt.
What? That's literally no one. Are you gonna show it or not?
I'm trying.
Yeah, he literally started buttoning back up. Like, are you gonna do the bit or not?
It's soil from Bangkok. Okay. I'm shy. Go on.
Satsuki is growing up dirt poor, single mother, no other family figures in her life, as far as we know. Has to base her entire schedule around waking up in the morning, waking up early enough to prepare dinner for her mom at the same time that she makes her own lunch. The dinner for her mom is always based on a specific kind of oyster soup, which happens to be a hangover cure, because her mother has to drink for a living. Something that goes over Reneko's head. I'm just going to say that one explicitly. Reneko does not know what the correlation between a hostess and alcohol is. That is word for word canon. Oh my god. So Satsuki has to feed her mother every day, make sure her mother gets into bed, throws things into the laundry, makes her own lunch, finishes up studying homework to become the second highest ranked individual in the school, and then has to go deal with Mai's bullshit coming from a silver spoon and refusing to accept any help that Mai could give her because she feels the only way that Mai can have anyone in her life that can see her for who she really is without having to deal with the professional persona she puts on is to be on her level, with literally none of the advantages. So we've got a girl who is very obsessive, very fixated on Mayoduka, completely separate of Reneko. We've got Satsuki is also very straightforwardly autistic. Oh my god.
There's a side story where she's watching Reneko watching Reneko and having the time of her life as Reneko yaps about a book she just read, and she has to apologize that she can't make facial expressions even though she's extremely happy.
I read the first 7 books before realizing that Satsuki had muted facial expressions, another common issue that can come with being autistic. Because every single insert of her in the books is her making the most ridiculous face you've ever seen in your life. And then you read the manga or think about it for 2 seconds, and she's literally just making a mute expression every single time she's not being smug or Reneko or Mai. Not only that, but holy shit, special interest books, anyone? The fact that her line icon, like her social media messaging app, is just a pile of books? Like, I thought they were just being really lazy, but they really wanted to point out that she's just spending her time reading books. Like, what, me when I was a kid? Who are they trying to kid?
Also, she's just as introverted as Reneko, something that completely goes over Reneko's head, even though Satsuki's not shy about admitting it.
Yeah, it's just, oh, but she's so cool and aloof. That doesn't mean she's an introvert, that just means she, talks a lot of shit, I believe is Reneko's way of describing it. Speaking of the fact that we have 2 autists trying to communicate to one another and how much that makes following the narrative a little bit difficult if you're not going to take the time to slow down and look through all of it. And how are we on time? Jesus Christ, I seriously thought I couldn't go an hour. This is from the movie, please excuse me, but yep. We have this quick little exchange about trouble Reneko has with someone else in the quintet, where she asks Satsuki how much she knows about the situation going on. Satsuki says, I don't know much of what you did. Oh, that's a 0 button. But I know you really hurt someone, and you're just a helpless person. And pay attention to Satsuki's face here. Reneko comments she's just trying her best. Satsuki is actively smiling. This is not in the manga. This is not mentioned in the book. because both of those are completely from Reniko's perspective. This is the only one where we get to see Saki being a little smug that her own little fixation is currently mad at Reniko, so she still has a chance with her instead. And Reniko can't pick up on the cue, especially with Saki 2 feet in front of her. So she gets to slip a little smug smile in there, and people aren't catching this shit. This is only on screen for less than a second. And it is a very firm smile. I fucking love all of the work with the facial expressions, the body language, the everything in the show. I cannot believe we got such a good adaptation. The whole adaptation was a passion project by the entire team. Multiple people went up to Terry Mikami and said that they were just like Reniko for real. Terry Mikami said, "Reniko, what are you doing to these people?" Terry Mikami keeps claiming that she's the only one that has no overlap with Reniko whatsoever. I don't know what... I'm gonna take Audie so I can get a drink water.
You can thank me.
Shut up, Audie, sorry.
So, Ajisai seems much more like, even at a closer glance, she seems much more perfect than everyone else. Everyone views her as an angel, as like a perfect being. Even Satsuki completely drops all the nonsense around her and treats her like an angel. There are little comments later on, later novels. Satsuki cannot be smug or anything around Ajisai because she just starts melting at the idea of being even a little mean to Ajisai. And Ajisai herself has a huge inferiority complex because just like everyone thinks she's too good to be in a quintet because she doesn't have any baggage, she thinks she doesn't fit in because she's relatively normal. She is not a super genius, she's not a literal model, she's just kind-hearted, and she can't even she's kind-hearted because she realizes how jealous she gets. Remember, you stand up, take it. I'm bad at talking.
You're doing fine. Notice that we can't talk about any of these characters without specifically bringing up their dynamic with everyone else. Very, very, very important. This is also why the first book is the worst book by far. The first arc is the worst arc by fall. We need to have characters established for the characters to start interweaving with one another. Writing a polycule is really frickin' hard. Even if people don't necessarily become romantically involved, all of the characters interweave and have a dynamic with one another to complete one another, support one another, and everything else. And it is insane how we are still getting brand new character dynamics with every single book. I read through side stories and find new little things that the girls are learning of and from one another, and how that's making them freak out and start start changing how they act in the following up books constantly. I have been having to chart all this out and start a frickin' blog in order to handle all of it. And this is just supposed to be a comedy rom-com. I've written over I've written over 100,000 words just bringing up the anime, the adaptation, the specific decisions used to depict things you can't see in the original writing for a reason.
Yapper. Yapper. We're 10 minutes left.
The fourth character, Koyanagi Kaho.
Fifth.
Shut up.
Forgot to count yourself.
Okay, Reniko.
Give me Fortune. I need my baby. I need my emotional support baby. You'll never be mean to me and tell me I'm counting wrong. You wouldn't do that, would you, Tycoon?
That's Fortune.
Koyanagi Kaho. Normally, I would say I don't want to spoil too much here, but considering the panel we're in, I'm going to peel back at least one thing. So, a lot of mental conditions for people, whatever term you want to use, neurodivergence, neurospiciness, ends up getting diagnosed and classified based on how annoying you are to the people around you. It is inhuman, it is awful, but that's a fact of life. And I mentioned before that Reniko is very clearly autistic, Satsuki is very clearly autistic. Holy shit, Kaho is autistic and likely ADHD up the ass. And specifically, she does not show it at the time that we see her, but as you read, you'll discover that she very much is the depiction of quiet autism to go along with Reniko's depiction of loud autism, of Kaho being the one that's too terrified to speak up and talk about anything genuine, and Reniko being the one who cannot stop running her mouth and saying about how much she loves Ajisai at any time of day, ever. She proposes to her in one of the side stories.
I think you propositions her in like the
Proposition and proposals are two different things.
Back on topic.
Very good example of Kaho's little suffering here, even though she is such a energetic little gremlin that is constantly probably causing 9/11 day to day in the series. We have this little flashback from one of the later arcs where she is at a convenience store getting a reasonable-ish meal and drinks for the weekend, and she forgot to ask for a bag, and it was too awkward for her to do it. She couldn't bring her voice up loud enough for the cashier to hear, so she had to carry everything all home at once. And oh my god, I took the big manually way out of this, and I'm so good at carrying so much shit without a bag. I don't have problems. I've never had a problem in my life. It's not just the central characters either. We have Amori Hanana. We have Reniko's sister, who herself is energetic to a fault, has a little bit of what could be ADHD going on, but I really can't tell. I have so much ADHD, I can't see it in others. It is a real problem.
She has an impulsivity problem and an anger
She has an
problem.
impulsivity problem. Oh, and an anger problem, which does have correlation to ADHD, which is how I found out that I have the exact same genetic anger issue as my father, thank God. That clarified a lot. And since we're low on time, we'll zoom.
Yeah, I switched to Lucy.
Yeah. We have Lucier, I'm not going to try and pronounce French. A literal cat. You know, cat is in the DSM 6, the 20 for it. It's going to explain every weird T-girl, you know, and thank God. Once again, we've got a little hyperfixation baby, but I'm not going to speak too heavily on that, other than the fact that she exists, and please look forward to her if you haven't gotten her already. We have Turasawa Yoko. I have notes here to do a back and forth with my co-host to not talk too heavily about her, but I'm just going to say something real quick. Even though she is a literal villain and just there to make people unhappy, largely in the story, I'm doing a research for a few things. We found out that some forms of narcissistic personality disorder, there's a thing called malignant narcissism. And that's a term that's just going to be a slur in about 10 years. Like, because it's what it sounds like, but no, it's just describing a condition that people suffer from, not something they choose to do.
She transvestigates Reniko.
She does
She unironically transvestigates Reniko.
Yeah, she does transvestigate Reniko. But literally, just look up the term. It is real upsetting. It is literally going to be like what people, all the fun things that most people learn are probably the term you shouldn't be calling a trans person in elementary school. It's the same sort of shit that's going to be not okay to call someone in about 10 years. And yet it does perfectly explain what is going on with this girl and the issues that she is dealing with in comparison to mine. We also have Satsuki's mother going through late stage version of a lot of things Satsuki is going through, except she is only 20 years ahead of her on them. And someone who's cut entirely from the anime, only present in the light novel and the manga, we have Mai's mother, who is
Shorter than Reniko.
shorter than Reniko and so autistic it hurts. I know I've been saying that a lot, but in this case, holy shit, Mai cannot describe her mother without discussing how robotic she is, how she can't tell what she's feeling at any time or another, and the fact that she keeps using words that no one else has ever heard of at any time in casual speech, like it's a perfectly normal thing.
Can I have this one? So, she walks up to Reniko and asks if she and Mai have done it yet. But the Japanese she uses is, have you bottomed for each other?
No,
It's referencing both of them as bottomed in a really awkward way.
Have you held each other yet? And Japanese is her second language. She is specifically messing up what she asks. And the English translation did an amazing translation of it saying, have you held each other yet? Whose arms go on top when you hug? This keeps me up at night. Here, let's see, what did we have left? Whoop.
Stop skipping.
Fuck.
Cut me.
Okay. Of course, again, like I said, I don't want to get too much into the... Go back. Fine. Oh, whoops. Okay, yeah. Never mind. You're right. Go forward. Go forward. Go back. Go forward. Go back. Go forward. I put so much time into this. Everything's tough. This series, it has enough going on that they've had to have characters stop and do the polycule chart themselves multiple times to figure out what the hell is going on, including, hey, why do you keep writing True Love with your PS4 here? I have questions. Hey, what happened to your PS4? I thought you had one. As we said earlier, seriously, we are obsessed with this series because it's focusing so very much on how everyone neurodivergent is trying their absolute very best and deserves love, acceptance, and a place they belong.
And that they can hurt each other, but they can feel better.
Detailing how difficult it can be for queer relationships to establish boundaries, like holy shit. And that's been a central thing going out through the entire series, including Reniko. All of the obvious things, but Reniko trying to figure out what the hell jealousy is and how to be possessive of someone when someone may want to feel a little more possessed around her. How sexuality manifests differently between people, especially in queer relationships, with little screenshots of Mai discussing how she very specifically, this is one of the most important blows of the anime, Mai just expressing that she feels that there is importance in having a physical touch and flow to love, not just in a sexual way, just that physical contact is important and it's a way to express yourself.
As seen as in the many bathing scenes.
And yes, I have a blog with way too goddamn much yapping on it. I seriously did, a fifth of a novel to describe one episode. And, let's see, what is the last one? QR codes?
No, this is me having mental illness.
And this is one of my wives with severe mental illness writing 2 entire books out of discussing Satsuki getting in on everything going on as quickly as she can. And if anyone wants to follow up with any of us, we've got QR codes to my blog, AO3, for AO3 and RB Skies. If anyone wants to screenshot that for later. Apologies for this being a little bit chaotic. I was so very sure I wouldn't be able to drag this out for an entire hour somehow. And I literally just had to throw half of that out in the last 5 seconds. I'm pretty sure we have to get out of here pretty quick. I don't think there's any more panels, and they're probably just going to kick everyone out soon, but if anyone has any follow-up things with us, God forbid, we can talk on the way out, and thank you all so much for coming in late.
Thank you.
It means so much to come to this battle.
You really are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now go to sleep. We will.
God, yeah.